Hi, I'm Patty McGarrahan, and this show is called The Mind's Eye Show. And today I have with me Jeremy McCoy. We've been around each other for many, many years. Started out with the shaman class that we met, and we've been a pain in each other's butt since. But he's going to come. He's been here before because he does palmistry. He does art classes at my shop where we do meditations and then do drawings where everybody's picture is different. It's really cool the way he does it. And today we're going to talk. He started doing sound baths, and he's back teaching yoga at my shop. So thank you for coming today, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
So so talk about the sound bath first, because that really excited me. It was really great.
Yeah, so I bought some crystal bowls quite a few years back, and during the pandemic I started streaming services so my friends who worked at hospitals could have a little escape and moment from the stress of all that kind of stuff, and it just kind of like took off, and did it for several months, and it's a very intuitive play in which I just kind of like go with the flow and see what comes out of it. So it's really nice.
I know the group we had the other day enjoyed it immensely. So enough so that we've got them booking other ones every month. Now. So obviously we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
it's got a lot of similarities to yoga as well, because it's like the frequencies, unlocking certain emotions or feelings in the body, kind of like remove that energy debris and allow healing to occur. It's really soothing.
Now explain the different bowls and the different size ones.
So there's many different kinds and types. I have a mix of gemstone and just the classic white
crystal bowls.
Crystal bowls, yep. And each have a different frequency, a different note, and those resonate with each chakra. So we just kind of like go through that flow and use it as a way to kind of like get people into that state where they're kind of like asleep but awake, and hopefully they kind of use that and then kind of gauge the room, and when people are starting to get too deep, hitting a certain frequency to kind of bring them up so they stay in that middle ground.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm one that, like, the didgeridoo, I love, but sometimes with the crystal bowls, I had problems, but when you did it, I didn't have any problems whatsoever. Explain about the gemstone ones, because most of us are gemstone freaks, so I'm sure we'd love hearing about that.
Yeah, so I think it's just the way they're using different frequencies, especially ones that associate to different chakras. So it kind of just resonates a little bit better. It has a more clean crystal sound, no pun intended. And it allows to get a better experience. But it does, for me, just like I'm a self-taught person, so it's, practice and making sure like hitting it just right so that you're not jarred out of like something like a crash or a loud bang, and making sure it all moves smoothly.
Now, do you do it for yourself as well?
I do it for myself. I do it for my pets too, and then I like to use it for like meditation, or like at the end of like a yoga practice or something to that effect. Or if you're just having a rainy day, just listening to that mixed with the rain, it just sounds really soothing and kind of just relax the nervous system and everything else.
So I'm a doggy person, so how do the dogs react to it?
My dogs love it. When I was doing live streams, I would have like a bean bag kind of chair that I would sit on, and they would just sit behind me and just kind of like sit and soak it all in. So
isn't it cool?
It is really cool.
I've done hypnosis with my dogs, and they absolutely love it. I had one in particular that as soon as I called him and he thought it was hypnosis, he threw himself on his back and the potty was on,
Yeah.
So it's amazing how the animals react.
Sometimes they'll chime in. Try to avoid that.
The extra sounds.
Just the extra sounds, because it can be jarring, especially on lives, but yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the streaming. Do you have any of them like on a YouTube channel or anything?
They're on YouTube. They're on YouTube. I had them on my Instagram, which was Remiology. I think they're still up. I would just play them live, and then they would stick around for a day or so on Instagram, and then I think you can still find them on YouTube. I tried to put...
Is it under Remiology?
I think it is, yeah. So And I would definitely read the notes, because there are times where I'll like mention like forgive the dogs barking or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But not everyone could make the live time, so it's usually at 7 o'clock, and so then they could play it whenever they need to. So,
Perfect,
yeah.
perfect. So your YouTube channel is also Remyology?
Yep.
So,
There's other things on there too, but
and your Facebook page is Remy McCoy, right?
yep, it's Remy McCoy.
So that way, if you ever want to see what some of the stuff he does.
Yeah, I have a Remyology Facebook page
you got a
too, where I
Remyology
post a
Facebook
lot of that
page,
stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, so just so that you know, he's got those things.
Yeah.
I call him Jeremy, and even though he kind of likes to be Remy, I don't accept that. I knew him for too many years as Jeremy
okay.
to switch it.
A person of many names.
Yes.
That's fine.
Jeremy and I, we did as I said, we did a shaman class together for quite a while. And our energy when it was together, the group complained and wanted us put on opposite sides because they said our energy tipped the room. And we refused to allow it.
Yep.
And Jeremy has come a long way, and his readings and everything are absolutely fabulous. But when he first started to read, he came from a family with one of the born-again Christian type of things. So we used to call him Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
So he didn't know that much about life to interpret. He was brilliant psychic, but didn't know about some of that, breaking it down. So I was his interpreter. And then when we did journeys, I named my place the Mind's Eye, because other than an eyeball, I can't draw anything. So we'd go on journeys together, and he would be able to draw. And I always remember the picture that you drew of the tree with my family faces. It's your family tree, but it was actually like faces were coming out of the tree.
Yeah.
And you drew that for me. So no matter what they said in that group, we were not separated. We were doing it. And then years later, he had a situation in his life, so he came and he stayed with us for a while. And then he ended up with a roommate with one of my daughters for a while.
Yep,
So we've had a combo effect. Yeah. I was in Maui when he was getting married. I was supposed to marry him, but part of it was my marriage thing has not been that good. A lot of divorces. So I said I think he did really well with it.
It was a good sign.
Probably not. Yeah. So I was bummed that I missed that, because I love Garth too. So, and I love his dog posts.
Yes.
He posts a lot more dog posts than you do.
Yeah, I don't post a lot.
So, to get back to the sound bath, if you ever get a chance to attend one, and I'm not just pushing what we have at our shop, anywhere, it's fabulous, because those that have known you, I'm a very wound, always like that person, and that chilled me out. Like,
yeah.
I was in the chair just like melted.
Yeah.
And it did its job for sure.
Good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing for sure. Also, let's talk a little bit about your yoga.
Yep. So been doing yoga for over a decade now, teaching anyway. Long time student for quite some time. I went to Kripalu through All That Matters quite a few years ago, and just was in love with it before I started teaching. But it's really nice to just kind of like have something very like simple, easy to go from beginning, middle, and end, and really get people into a place where they feel just better and different, and really just changes your mood and allows you to relax. And I always call it like the warm-up before meditation, to get all the kinks out, so that when you do meditation, you're not like trying to scratch that itch or loosen up that muscle. It kind of prepares you for that.
And he did a fabulous job. He had one point where he had all of us that could barely get up off the floor, and we still got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
He did terrific with it. And so he's able to work with those of us that don't bend and creak too well.
Chairs are great, especially in yoga, so it's really wonderful.
So he's able to figure out what you need, which is really fabulous. And he taught yoga up at my place for quite a while, and then his job kept making him travel. So once people stop getting used to coming on a regular basis, it makes it difficult. So we had to stop it, which was a bummer. So I'm so excited that he came back. And it was so funny, because a couple of other people have tried to open that door up there, and it was closed. It was waiting for you. it was closed. So
well, there's a season for everything, for sure. So,
So explain like some of like the practice, if you did for an average group, middle age, You know what I mean? Like with yoga, like what would you be doing with them?
So I definitely start every yoga practice with like a short meditation, some like intention, what you want to work on, whether it's just like being more relaxed or feeling more loose or allowing your mind to be more open to different possibilities, wherever the thing that you're working on. And then just start off slow, warm the body up, usually with joints or the sixth movement of the spine. So forwards.
Just explain that.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
somebody like me doesn't remember it. I just watched what you did and did it. You know.
So in order to warm up the body, we try to focus on the spinal column. So we do a back bend, forward bend, lateral from side to side, and then twist. So those are the 6 movements. And so we do different movements or flows to warm up that part, and then different joints beyond that. And then all the extremity work, so anything from like beyond the trunk to your fingers or your toes is like additional. So you could potentially do practice without having to get up and down the floor. It just really depends on what the needs of the person is. And I try to read the room, see what people can do, and then give them accommodations or give them different techniques that they can use, whether it be a chair or a prop, to get them to where what suits them, not so much to make it look fancy or make it look good, because it's more about how you feel versus how it looks. And so like if you're getting the benefits, that outweighs, looking awesome on a poster or something to that effect. And you don't have to be flexible to do yoga. That's usually the biggest misconception, is like knowing where your body is, what the limit is, and then kind of feeling that limit and trying to push it a little bit within reason.
Because when we were doing it regularly, my movement was much better.
Yeah. And that's the point of the practice too, is not necessarily like just being consistent.
Barbara was better than ever.
Yeah.
She was doing it too.
Yeah. And if you don't use it, if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you gotta move it so you can keep it. So that's one of the goals.
Her daughter-in-law, I did get a message from Pam, and she said hi too. So
that's awesome.
So we got a lot of tingles and tangles and stuff in there. So so getting back to that now, what would some of the things you do if you had like younger ones, like the 20-year-old crew?
So I tried to show them the classic versions of the posture. So like I will show both. I'll do like a short demo. I will show like an accommodations version. I'll show a midway, and then I'll show like a full version. And then they can pick and choose. And everyone's different. So like on one side, you may be very flexible to do a little bit further than the other side.
Okay.
So just about listening to you, listening to your body, knowing, nope, I can't do that. If you're thinking you can't do it, then don't do it.
Right.
Start somewhere else where you're like, oh, I can do this. Start there, and then play. So if you're consistent with your practice, then you're able to kind of explore that a little bit more, versus people thinking like, oh, I can just jump right in. And I'm like, if you want to, sure, but it's better that you take your time and ease into it. Also safety too. Like it's important to know your body, know your limits. And hopefully yoga kind of teaches you that part as well.
Stretch out some of those limits so that you can move it farther.
Move those
Here we go again.
Yeah, move those kinks.
But it was absolutely fantastic. So tell me how you put the sound bath stuff when you do a mixture of the two.
So usually do it at the end. So like with every practice, I do a short meditation in the beginning, set your intention, do the 6 movement of the spine, warm up the body parts we're going to use, go into different postures of flow, whether it's a classic flow or some modification. Just sometimes it depends on the day. So like if I feel intuitively from the people in the room that we need this, we'll dive into that. Like if we need more shoulder work or more core work, we'll go into that. And then we try to wrap it all up and come back into an intuitive space, a meditative space, and close it with like a meditation. And that's usually where a sound bath will come into play.
Yes, if you're going to do that. I love that you do that because I didn't even realize it. But I have a meditation night once a month, and on Sunday or Monday, I'll figure out what I'm going to do, and it'll change all week long. And what happens is so-and-so is going to come and can't come. So-and-so is adding in. And it always ends up what they need. It's amazing.
Yeah, as much as I try to plan, because I'll like get little messages or thoughts, I'm like, oh, that's really cool in my own practice, I'll make sure to bring that in. And then sometimes I arrive and I'm just like, nope, all that's going to go out the window. We're going to start all over. And just, sometimes I even just ask, like, what do you need? If you need to work on something, what do you need? And if people have multiple like suggestions, I'll work it in somehow and make sure everyone's getting something of what they're looking for.
Love it, yeah. I laughed one time. I actually went to the ladies' room just before the meditation. They switched it again, and people had walked in that I didn't expect. They said, no, let's switch it. And I go, oh, goody. Yeah. But it always works out because they help you with everything, and it always works out.
Yeah, that can be intimidating a little bit every once in a while, especially if you're like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to get into, and then there are times you just walk in, I'm like, we're doing this today.
Yep,
let's go with the flow.
The world has changed.
And I think yoga helps people with that too. It's just like meeting a challenge and realizing like you can move with the flow and change with it versus like trying to fight against it. So it's all at different levels.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Are you excited about getting back into it?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm excited about it too. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. He's going to start doing yoga classes Friday night. This will be airing like way after that round. Yeah. You can check with me to see when it's going to continue. And the sound bowl thing, I'm so excited that everybody loved it and wanted it to go into a monthly
thing. It's really fun to do too. So
it's fun to watch you do it too. The beginning I didn't go under because I'm a news bag, and I wanted
to see what my style was.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how it went. Yeah. And also because of the fact that every once in a while a pitch on one of the crystal bowls affects me not the best way, but it never happened with yours. It was great. So I don't know whether somebody had like a different pitch and it just or it could have been something I was going through at the time that it was
the same thing with like yoga too. Like we capture different things in our body, and so when some stuff releases, it can feel uncomfortable. But you're right, it depends on the person who's playing, and I've had some bad nights when I'm playing. I'm just like, oh, that didn't sound great to me, So it just really depends.
It depends on it, yeah.
Yeah.
How I even got into the sound at all was I actually went to a show in Massachusetts with John Holland, and he brought out a didgeridoo.
Oh yeah.
And at first, what it was doing to my chakra system in here was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt so good afterwards that I started investigating some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
I love the history of it too. Just so that you know, it's
so difficult to play.
That's actually eaten out like by termites. You know what I mean? It's like crazy, but it ends up, it plays, and whatever it does, it does great things for you.
Yeah.
But I was so thrilled because I found, as I said, I don't know whether I've progressed or if it was different bowls that you had, but it was just very soothing, and I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, sometimes we try to focus on not so much the tone, but like the level of volume to kind of make sure people aren't going too deep, and sometimes that could hit like an off note. If it vibrates for too long, it can start to vibrate off the walls and cause that.
So no, it was a fabulous night, and I'm looking forward to the next time. And
me too.
Yes, and we have all this planned. Like I was telling you before, I also, Jeremy is a great palmist, and we've done a show on his palmistry before, but I can't resist bringing it up again, because where did you travel to that you ended up doing a lot of?
Oh, Belgium.
He went to Belgium. The shaman teacher had friends in Belgium that were big palmists, and he traveled there and stayed with them and learned a whole lot of palmistry from it. And
I did go to Australia. I wish I got a didgeridoo session when I was there, but I never did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's so cool.
Yeah. But it was when he went to Belgium, he learned a whole lot about the palmistry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he used to be funny. He would tell me he wasn't going to read my palm. You're always fresh to me.
It's difficult when you're reading for friends sometimes.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And
especially when people are just like, just tell me a couple things.
Well, the whole thing is, though, I read myself and the whole 9 yards. So I'm not usually looking for a reading. I'm just more or less saying, well, okay, my life is a you-know-what show. What is my lines? I'm teasing you. What is it in the lines of my thing, and joking.
Yeah.
Knowing that they switch, the lines change.
Yep, they do.
Which is
as
just
you go
absolutely
through.
amazing as you go through life.
Yep.
The lines change on your palms, and we've had some really fun classes, and most of the people that have taken it really fell in love with you.
Yeah.
It was just because
it's fun.
It was, and you make it fun.
I try to make it fun.
Make it fun, and I got to tell you something. You've done so many of those paint groups.
Yeah.
But both that had to be one of my favorites. The one that we just had.
Did, yeah.
Had to be one of my favorites, and I'm sure if you looked on the website and stuff like that, you'd probably find some of the pictures and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, the pictures
we had a great
were incredible. The pictures were absolutely gorgeous. And I like the fact that it's not all the same thing.
Yeah.
I've gone to a million paint nights. Well, I have a daughter that loves to go, and I think she likes to go because she paints a lot better than me. Mine are ugly. But one night we went to one, and a big group came in, so they asked us to move, and because we were moved, they gave us more drink cards.
Oh. And
I can't drink. I might have but I can't hold liquor worth a darn. So even though they give you like about this much in the glass, I got 3 of them. And I'm sitting there painting like a pro, and I got my glasses on my head so I can't see. And I'm painting, and that owl that I have hanging came out so good because I didn't psychoanalyze like I do everything else.
Just relax and just go with the flow.
Well, I got that accounting brain, so I have
making sure everything is balanced and symmetrical.
Balanced and everything, and it's fantastic. But as I said, that was just a really fun night. A lot of different people doing different things, and it was absolutely
great creating that space where you're telling people like, mess up, have fun with it, don't take it too seriously. Just go with the flow and just play.
That's basically most of the stuff, other than palmistry can be more intense because you have to know the lines.
Yeah.
But most of the things you do are where you really get to relax and enjoy.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I want to just say again, you can find him Remyology or Remy McCoy, the sound bathing, YouTube. Remyology.
Yep, Remyology.
And if, again, like I tell you with all the people that come, and if you can't find him, ask me. I can always find him, whether he wants to be found or not.
I always point them to your direction.
Whether he wants to be found or not, I can usually find him wherever he is. Yeah. He goes, here she is again.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, he's also one of my readers when I do the dinner, the psychic dinners and stuff like that. He's also one of my readers. So he's very well-rounded with all this stuff. You try. Name what are some other things that you do?
Well, it's been a while, but we did Reiki together and Karuna. I should probably get into that at some point. I do a lot on my pets, but
I got to tell you something. The dog, I do clients too, but the dog Reiki, just as I had a dog that had $5,000 worth of operations. I took him from a coworker that was going through a divorce, and supposedly this dog had some health issues, supposedly couldn't have a dog, so I gave, and then she got another dog. So that's another story for another day. But anyway, this dog ate the sponge thing that you put around an angel, and it got caught in the intestines, so they had to massage it into the stomach. Okay. And then after it was all done, they said, I think you should have to put it down. Well, part of the problem, I think, was she couldn't get any rest because to keep things sanitary, everything's metal in those places. And she's like scared of a thunder or a firework, so any bang clang. But I brought her home. I didn't listen to them, and I brought her home. And I did a full Reiki session, and I figured either she would cross over more comfortably or it would save her. Yeah. And then I kept checking her, and the next morning I did a second Reiki session, and she stood up, licked my face, asked for a bone, went outside, did her thing, and lived another 7 years. Yeah. So it's amazing. The dog thing is terrific. And my friend actually Kathy actually does it with all her
Yeah.
animals and stuff.
They're easily like receptible to it too. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, they'll do that.
When I was learning it and first taking it, my dog Harley had stomach issues.
Yeah.
And again, he used to jump and lay on his back and go, good, she's going to do this to me, you know. And absolutely loved it. But yeah, the Reiki, you should get back into though. It never hurts.
Sure.
But doing it just for your animals is absolutely cool
no,
too.
it's great. Yeah.
And I have clients that take it just to work on their animals. In fact, I have a client now that's ready to take Reiki 1.
Okay.
And a lot of it is for the animals. She has a Great Dane, 11 years old, which is old for a Great Dane.
Yeah.
But she got Lyme disease and had a lot of medical problems.
Okay.
And the dog ended up a support dog, but also like she lost her sight at the beginning, and the dog helped her with everything.
Wow.
So I sent Reiki, and we did a thing with the dog via the phone.
Yeah.
Distance Reiki, and the next day the dog walked just fine.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
She said that she has multiple dogs, but that dog owns her heart because it like saved her during a really difficult period.
Yeah.
Which is a fabulous thing. So.
Yeah, it's so good.
So I'm so glad that you're back doing all this stuff. I missed you when you were gone. And when he went to do the dinner show, he tried to tell me that he hadn't, and I said, it's just like riding a bike. You can go back and do it.
Well, it takes a minute for sure.
But don't you find even when we put stuff on the shelf, I always think it has a reason for us to do it.
Yeah.
But when you pick it back up, you still grew.
Yeah.
Even though you did it, because I know by the comments that I got, and the first time you did it, you go, it's better than I was before. Do you know what I mean? And the comics. So sometimes we need to leave things to rest for a little while.
Especially when you're living life and you're getting life experience, you can start building that psychic dictionary. So when you're getting messages, you're able to, oh, I know what this means now, or this makes more sense, or your situation reminds me of this situation, so you're able to relate and explain things a little bit more clearly than you would if you didn't have those life experiences.
Yep.
So yeah, it does make a difference.
Yes. One of the first times that we read together, it was Jeremy's friend had a bridal shower, and he knew her too well. So I read her, and I told her she was going to get pregnant on the cruise, and she got so angry with me. It wasn't a pretty picture. And I had to laugh because I was with my granddaughter in Old Navy a year and a half after. I said, you're going to get pregnant and right on the cruise, and you're going to. She had her tubes tied, and she's telling me she can't get pregnant, and she's really mad that I said that. So anyway, I'm in Old Navy, and all of a sudden the stroller comes up to me, and she goes, I apologize for being such a jerk with you and Jeremy that day. She says, but this is the little boy you predicted. I said, awesome. It is funny, because that's why in this industry a lot of times you have to let things go to where it's supposed to be.
To remember like the tactics of a reading, like people come and have like reading amnesia, like they sit down and they forget like their last name or their husband's name or whatever the case may be. And it isn't until after they leave and you feel like, oh, I didn't hit anything. Yeah. And then after they leave, like,
one
oh, I remember.
One of the famous readers did a mediumship one, and a girl I worked with, her close friend, the sister's name was Chica. And that is not an average name.
No.
And the brother sat there and like, he didn't know it was for him. Because that happens a lot of times.
Yeah, they also get tunnel vision. They're really like focused on what they want to hear.
So they're telling us that we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
So I thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
And I thank you for when I make you come places and do things you're doing for me. And I appreciate it greatly.
I appreciate your appreciation.
Thank you so much, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so good times roll.